what's up guys, it's Kelly, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my spooky October TBR. If you find yourself enjoying this, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it really helps me out, and if you're new here and would like to see more of me, then please subscribe. So in the month of October, as I have done previously, I will be participating in the Gothtober readathon hosted by the wonderful Hannah from Lynette M, Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, and Tish from Little Wolf. All of their channels will be linked in the description, as well as announcement videos for Gothtober if you would like to take part. I am coming in a little late with my TBR, but that's okay. This year, Gothtober is centred around the final girl trope, and to pull together the prompts for your TBR, there is a fun little game that you have to play. So you play through this scenario, make decisions as like a choose your own adventure kind of deal, and at the end it gives you a list of prompts based on the decisions that you've made. It's so cool, it's such a fantastic idea, I love it so much, and I'm really excited to be sharing my TBR with you. But first, let's walk through my gameplay. Okay, let's get started. I wake up, I'm obviously going to be in a Gothic mansion. This is me. Agliambi Manor, Gothic house. I came with my partner. They're hosting a charity banquet. Obviously I'm wearing formal wear because I'm a classy bitch. Definitely something. Oh, there are voices going to be coming from the walls, aren't there? I am a parody of myself and I feel like I should be going to the library as a result, but I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to go to the dining room because, like, there are going to be people there. The library feels like it seems likely that I'll get killed. Oh, and I'm going to pick up a candelabra. That seems like a good weapon, and I will survive because I will get a team together. I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to try to do this all myself. Okay, so there are my prompts. So my first prompt is to read a Gothic mood read book, and for that I've chosen Babel by R.F. Kuang, which I am so excited to read. This is a dark academia kind of historical fantasy. So this is set in the 1800s at Oxford and is centred around Babel, the Royal Institute of Translation. So we follow a student who works there and was brought over from Canton where they were orphaned. They were brought over to England as a child, and I think that they were kind of raised at Oxford and are now working at Babel, or studying at Babel, and they've always thought it to be a bit of a paradise, but it's starting to feel more like a prison. The thing that really excites me about this is the idea that language and translation and the work that they do is kind of tied into magic. It's dark academia with magic. Like, that was all I needed to know to be absolutely sold on this, and I really can't wait to read it. Next is to read a book that completes you, and this is the one book on my list that is definitely not at all Gothic or like on theme at all, but that's Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This is going to be a reread for me, but I got an arc of this and did a reading vlog for it, and when it got to release date, or like near a release date, I wanted to edit and upload my reading vlog, and I cannot for the life of me find the footage anywhere. I can't find it on my phone. I thought I might have moved it onto my PC, can't find it on my PC. I know I took stuff off my PC and put it on a hard drive, can't find it on my hard drive, so I have no idea where that footage went, but I do want to try to reread this quite soon so that I can do a video diary of my reread, so that I can still upload a video diary of it. And I know that I love it. I know this book does complete me. Ali Hazelwood's writing does complete me, so it might not be on theme, but it is on prompt. So we follow B, a neuroscientist who is offered a job on a project at NASA, which obviously is like a dream. Unfortunately, the dream comes with a nightmare. She's going to be working with Levi Ward, who has been her enemy for like years and years. Like, sure, he's good looking, but he has made it very clear that he has absolutely no interest in her, like personally or professionally. He doesn't think very much of her, and B is just like, done, don't need this man in my life. But things start getting a little weird. Her equipment is missing, is malfunctioning, some really strange stuff is going down, and as all of these weirder things start happening, it does seem to be that Levi is in her corner. He seems to be supporting her, he seems to be standing up for her, and she starts to wonder if maybe she was wrong about him all along. There are some other subplots in here that I really enjoyed, and I'm very much looking forward to revisiting this. Next is to read a beautiful book, and while almost all of the books on my TBR would fit, I have selected one just for this prompt as well, and that is Unravel by Frances Hardinge. Full disclosure, I have already started this. I did start this in September, but I'm not that far in. I've actually read a fair bit. I've read 87 pages. I'm that far. This is so good so far. So we follow Kellen, who is a curse unraveler. Basically, in this land, people can, you know, put curses on people, and curses can't be lifted or broken. They have to be unraveled. So you have to take the person that's been cursed, assess like what the curse is, figure out who cursed them, and you have to kind of unravel the threads of the curse to lead back to the cursor and resolve whatever problem it is that caused them to put a curse on someone in the first place. It's such an interesting and unique magic system. I'm enjoying it so much. The writing is phenomenal. On top of that, so Kellen is set on helping people. He wants to help people. He wants to unravel people's curses. He wants to help make people's lives better. But Kellen, unfortunately, has also been cursed, and if he can't manage to unravel the curse that's been put on him, he might just end up unraveling everything around him. I think I'm set up to head into like a fair amount of angst coming, but this world is so, it just draws you in, and it's so captivating, and the writing is so lovely and lyrical, and the story is so compelling. I love the curse magic. Absolutely would recommend, and it is just a stunning cover. Look at that gold foil spider web! Next is to read a book by a BIPOC author, and again I could double up here because I've already got Babel, but I have put The Ren Hunt by Mary Watson on my list. This is one that's been on my shelves for quite a while, and I've really wanted to read it, and I think it just has the perfect atmosphere and vibe for Gothtober. And I'm going to read the back of this one because I feel like I need to give you all of the information. Every winter, Ren Silky is chased through the forest in a warped version of a childhood game. The boys who hunt her are judges, powerful and frightening pursuers who know nothing of her true identity. If they knew she was an augur, their sworn enemy, the game would turn deadly. But Ren is on the hunt too. Sent undercover as an intern to the Harkness Foundation, enemy headquarters, her family's survival rests on finding a secret meant to stay hidden. As the enmity between two ancient magics reaches breaking point, Ren is torn between old loyalties and new lies, and trapped in the most dangerous game of her life. I mean, just like dark forests, espionage, it all sounds like it's going to be a real good time, and it is described as part thriller, part love story, so I do love that for me. I forgot I do have one more book that's not quite on theme, but for Read a Book with Disability Rep, I'm planning to read The Asparagus Bunch by Jessica Scott White. This is a book with a neurodiverse main character. He is autistic. I got this about a month or two ago, and I've been really wanting to read it. It just looks like it's going to be really sweet and heartwarming, and it just sounds fantastic. I'm going to read the synopsis again from my laptop because the book is over there and I forgot to bring it over here. Having been kicked out of 6 different schools, Leon is labelled as having an attitude problem by almost everyone he comes into contact with. Dr. Snot, yes, his real name, gives it a different label and diagnoses Leon as autistic. Leon doesn't care for either label, in the same way that he doesn't care for Tim Burton, supermarket trolleys, train fanatics, or bounty bars. Fair. The bounty bars, not Tim Burton. How he manages to navigate school woes and family drama and astonishingly ends up with not one but two friends is nothing short of a miracle, or maybe just simply down to being different. So what I don't love about it is the fact that he wants to reject his label of being autistic and wants to just call it being different. I'm really hoping that that's going to be part of his journey, is like learning to accept his autism and being okay with the fact that it's okay. Like, having a label can be okay and useful. I'm really hopeful that that's what this is going to be, but I'm hoping that it will be charming and heartwarming and just good rep nonetheless. For Read a Book with LGBTQ+ rep, I'm going with Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Elbert. I saw a blog post that said that this had queer rep in it, so I'm hoping it does, and I'm hoping it's good. So it looks like this is a dual timeline story. So we follow a teenager called Ivy, whose summer kicks off with some strange occurrences, and as more and more of these supernatural things start happening around her, she's forced to face a deep dark family secret that there's more to her mother than meets the eye. Then we follow her mother Dana's story, who along with her best friend and an older girl start playing around with the supernatural, and things start to go a bit wrong and head towards a very violent breaking point. So from what I can tell, this is a dual timeline story, and then things kind of come together, and Ivy and Dana have to, a few years on, have to reckon with all of these things that have happened in their past and with their kind of weirdly shared history. It sounds so good. I think I'm going to be buddy reading this with Melanie from A Bookstropolis on Instagram. I'm very, very keen to read it. Just like female friendships, witchcraft, here for it, and like I said, apparently there is some queer rep in this. Okay, next we have Read a Book with a Sentient House, for which I'm reading Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I've never read this before and I am so excited. I'm just assuming I'm going to love it because I love Studio Ghibli. I haven't watched Howl's Moving Castle yet, but I love Studio Ghibli, so I'm assuming the fact that they adapted this just means it's something that I'm going to love the vibes of. My cat is attempting to climb into my lap, so I love that for me. And basically what I know about this is that there is a young girl called Sophie who is cursed to live in the body of an old woman, and in order to break the curse she has to move into Howl's Moving Castle, which is a castle that moves, and she has to bargain with Howl, who I think everyone thinks is evil, but from what I know, I think that he might not be. And it just sounds like it's going to be absolutely right up my alley, just a perfect, like, magical, absolute vibes read, and I'm gonna do the audio, so I'm quite excited about that. Next we have Read a Book from one of the host's recommendations videos, and for that I'm going with Belladonna by Adeline Grace, which was already on my October TBR, and I was just thrilled that I got this prompt and that Hannah included this book on her recommendations video so that I could use it for this prompt. And this one I'm going to read the synopsis as well because I know I want to read it on vibes. It was described as Bridgerton meets Knives Out to me with like gothic feels, and I was here for that. So I know I want to read it on vibes, but I don't actually know the synopsis. So, orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorngrove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realises that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. However, Signa's best chance of uncovering the murderer is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made a life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine. I am here for a gothic romance about death. Absolutely here for it. Next I got Read a Book with a Portrait of Victorian Aesthetic, and for this I think I'm finally going to read The Picture of Dorian Gray, which has been on my TBR for the longest time and is both Victorian aesthetic and literally has a portrait, so I feel like it works. And I mean, the crux of it is Dorian Gray, beautiful young man, full of life, wants to stay gorgeous forever, so he has his essence painted into a picture and he can remain young and beautiful forever, while all of the terrible things that he does and all of the damage that he causes to his body through like a decadent lifestyle as well as just natural aging, all of those bad things show up on a portrait that he keeps locked away in his attic. And at some point presumably there are consequences, and I'm very excited to finally read this book. And lastly is to read a book with multiple survivors. Now I think I am kind of loosely taking on this prompt because I'm assuming that there will be more than one person who survives the end of this book. I just don't know if all of the people in this book will necessarily have been in danger at some point, but there will be more than one survivor, so here's to loose interpretations. And that is The Eye of the Beholder by Margie Orford. So this I am actually reading as part of a read-along with Jonathan Ball. It started on Monday the 3rd of October. We're reading just a couple chapters a day and I am super excited for this. It's not my usual, you know I don't read a lot of thrillers, but this was described as like a female revenge thriller and here for it. So I'm going in based on pure vibes. I have not read the synopsis. I don't think I want to read the synopsis. I'm just ready to be like swept away and think good for her. So that is my Gothtober / just general October TBR for this year. Let me know in the comments what you thought of any of the books that I've mentioned, if you've read them. Also let me know what you're planning to read this month. As you all know, I love a themed TBR. I love an October TBR. I'm still struggling with some residual slump, so I don't know that I'm actually going to achieve all of these books, but obviously I can double up, and I think I can make a pretty decent success of my Gothtober TBR this year. So yeah, let me know what you're reading, let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to go and follow all of the hosts. In the description you'll find links to all of my other social media. That's my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, as well as my website and my TikTok. You'll also find links to my Blackwell's affiliate link, my Scribd affiliate link, my Redbubble, and my Ko-fi if you'd like to support me using any of those, as well as a link to my website, as I said, if you would like to hire me for any editing work. That's it for me today, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Bye!